Hey there, thanks for joining me today. This is Laura Lynn with Keep Inking Up. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up in San Antonio, Texas. And today I wanted to share a clean and simple one-layer card using the Delicate Dahlias stamp set. This stamp set is one of our Sale-a-bration items that you can earn for free with a $100 order. You cannot purchase this stamp set. You can only order it, or you can only earn it for free with a qualifying order. And Sale-a-bration does end on September 30th, 2021, so there's not a lot of time left. So this is a gorgeous stamp set. I highly recommend it, and I wanted to share with you a couple of things about it so you can get it while you can. I just hate always when Sale-a-bration is over and people are like, oh, I really want that stamp set, and I'm sorry, but it's just not available anymore. So let me show you a clean and simple card using the Delicate Dahlias, and then I have some other samples that I want to share with you. So today I'm using a card base out of smoky slate. You know, I always use white, basic white, and I thought, you know what, let's change it up a little bit. Let's use something else. So I pulled in a piece of our smoky slate cardstock. So this is 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that. And let me find my bone folder. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a good score so the card stays nice and flat. There we go. So there's my card base. We're going to stamp on that. You'll notice that I do have my deluxe foam mat underneath me. That's because the Delicate Dahlias is a photopolymer stamp set. I've got the stamps pulled out, but here they are in here. This is another clean and simple card, and we're going to use a very similar layout, well, exact same layout. This was a note card that I did quite some time ago, but very cute, very simple, easy to do. But it's a photopolymer stamp set, so I always like to use my deluxe foam mat. This is made for the Stamparatus, but I use it just for regular stamping, whether I'm with the Stamparatus or without. So let's go ahead and get started stamping our flowers. So I'm going to begin with the outlined image. You can see my stamps are well loved. They're stained. They're clean. They're just stained because we are going to use pink again, and pinks and reds tend to stain your stamps significantly. And by the way, also early espresso tends to stain my stamps. Anyway, it still works just fine even though it's stained. And I am going to use, oh, I should pull in my inks to show you. They're a little bit out of order here. Let's see. I don't think it really matters what order they're in, but I'm going to be using Magenta Madness, Polished Pink, Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent, and Basic Gray. The Polished Pink, Evening Evergreen, and Soft Succulent are all new in color, so they are available from 2021 to 2023. The Magenta Madness is last year's in color, so it is available just for this the rest of this year. So it'll be retiring next spring, which will be really sad. But I'm going to go ahead and use the Magenta Madness for the outline stamp. So what I like to do when I have large stamps like this is I'll lay the stamp on the table and then I'll bring the ink to it rather than this way. And the reason is you make sure that I get it well inked, and I can tell already that I didn't get the middle very well inked, but this way I can see that I've got it well inked. I'm going to go ahead and close this up, and now I'm going to stamp my flower kind of in the middle center of my card. I'm going to try to keep my head out of the view, so I apologize ahead of time if I do get my head in the way. I'm going to let that sit there for a couple of seconds just to let the ink transfer, and I'll lift that up, and isn't that a pretty flower? And you see I did not get it well inked in the very middle of my stamp. I'm not sure why that happened, but it's okay because the next stamp will take care of that. The next image will take care of that, which is our solid image. Oh, what I wanted to mention, one of my previous videos I talked about two-step stamping, and this is indeed a two-step stamp set. It says right here, two-step, and so you can see you have one-step, two-step for all of the 4 images, and then you've got also 4 really nice sentiments, and we're going to be using the thank you kindly today. So this is the second step for the two-step stamping. So for this one I'm going to use Polished Pink, which is just a little bit lighter. I don't know if you can tell that on the screen, but this is a little bit darker. This is a little bit lighter pink. And obviously this is on smoky slate, so it's not on basic white, so it's a little bit harder to see the difference in color, but I still think it turns out lovely. So again, I'm going to bring my ink to my stamp. Now what I did, you'll notice that the ink is not bubbling up a lot. when you have these more detailed images, I think I call them distinctive images. I don't think they call it distinctive on the stamp set. They don't have the icon saying it's distinctive, but hopefully you can see on there that it's very defined, very detailed. There's a lot of different gradations within the stamp. So you do not want to have a really juicy ink pad. So what I did before I started the video is I used my spoon and I pushed the ink to the sides of the ink pad so it's not so juicy. So you can see there's a couple of spots where it's a little bit bubbly, but I think it'll be okay. But you do want to be careful. If you're having trouble with inking any detailed stamp like this, just push the ink aside with a spoon. I've shared that in previous videos. But if you have any questions about that, please let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to answer any questions. So now I need to line up my image. What I do is I look for this little hook of a leaf here. And where is that on here? It's right there. So now I'm going to line this up. And again, I might need to stick my head in here. I'm going to try to hover it over there. See if I have it lined up pretty well. Well, we'll just hope for the best. And then again, I'm just going to sit that on there for a few seconds to let the ink transfer, and then I'll pick it up. And you can see, hopefully you can see how that, I didn't get it perfectly lined up, but I got pretty good. There's just a little spots where it's off. And there's a little bit of dots on there, but it's still a really pretty image. So I'm going to set that aside. And now what I want to do, because I wanted to keep this to a single layer card, is I went ahead and I cut out a mask. I stamped the outline image on a plain piece of copy paper, and then I put a little bit of adhesive on the back. And so now I'm going to use that hook again to line this up, line this mask on top of my flower and set that down. And now I'm going to stamp some leaves. So I have again the two-step leaves, and I'm going to again use the outline first, and I'm going to use that with the Evening Evergreen. I love this green. It's a real dark, rich green, and it's a really good substitute for black because it's so intense. So it's great for sentiments. It's a really beautiful, deep, rich color. So I love it. So I'm going to use that with my leaf. And this one's not so big, so I'm taking the stamp to the pad, unlike the other one. And let's see, I think that I'm going to put a leaf up here. And we'll put one over here. And I'll put another one over here. I like to do things in odd numbers, so I have 3. And there's 3 leaves on this stamp set, or on this stamp image, so that makes 9. So it's still an odd number, so that's perfect. I'm going to close this up, and now we can do the second step for the leaf images. So I'm going to use a soft succulent for that. The soft succulent and the Evening Evergreen are perfect complements to each other. So I'm going to ink this up again. Again, I can go ink to, or stamp to ink pad, and then I'm going to line this up as best as I can from far away. That's pretty good. And then we'll just continue to do that all around to the other images with the leaves. So they're not perfect, but I think they're good enough. So I'll set that aside, and now we can take off our mask. And isn't that pretty? It has the leaves coming out behind the flower. Perfect. All right, so now what I'm going to do is do a sentiment, and I thought about doing black, but I said, I don't want it to be so harsh, so I decided to go with basic gray. I'm gonna open that up, and I have the Thank You Kindly image, so I'll ink that up, and we'll put that below the flower. We'll try to get it somewhat centered and straight. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. And then I'll close this up. Okay, so one last thing that I want to do, this is a very clean and simple card. There's not much to it, so I thought that I would add a couple of rhinestones just to add a little bit of bling on it. So I'm going to take these really small rhinestones, and I'll put, let's see, we'll put one here. Oops. We'll put one up here. again, I like to do things in odd numbers, so I'm gonna put another one down here. So there is that simple card. Isn't that pretty? So quick, so easy. Anyone can do it, and it looks gorgeous because this stamp set is amazing. I love the two-step of it, and I love the detail in it. So it's just a beautiful stamp set. But remember, it is only available until the end of this month. So you have, what is that? What is today? The 20th of September. So you only have 10 days left to earn this set for free. So I did want to share that, but I also wanted to share some other cards that I made. This is an extremely versatile set, and I think you will agree that all of these cards are quite different. I do have another clean and simple card here that uses the smaller flower and the tiny leaf, the same in colors. This is the pale papaya, fresh freesia, polished pink, and the soft succulent, and then again that evening evergreen for the sentiment. Isn't that great? Like I said, it's a great alternative to black for sentiments. I just think that's so pretty. And again, I added some rhinestones in odd numbers, and the leaves and the flowers, everything's in odd numbers. So that's another clean and simple card. You don't have to stick with clean and simple. Here's a rather busy looking one. I love purple. If you follow me, you know that I love purple. And I did a lot of masking in the background. You can see that I just overlapped the really large outline flower, and then I stamped the second stamp on the inside too, and then I used the playful alphabet to cut out the thank you letters and then popped them up on adhesive, or have foam adhesive sheets. And then I just added a little bit of retired ribbon and enamel dots that I had already in my stash, and then I cropped it with one of the dies from the Scalloped Contours dies. Just love this card. It's so pretty. Well, I love purple, so it doesn't matter, but very, very different look. And this is an even more different look. This is the no line coloring with my blends. I used Night of Navy and Balmy Blue to color in the dahlia and then also the other smaller flowers. And to do that, what I did is I stamped the outline flower in a really light color so I could tell where to color, and then I just did the coloring with my Stampin' Blends. And then the leaves and the little stems, that's from the, what is it called? The Gorgeous Leaves bundle. Love those leaves. So another very different look with this stamp set. This one I think must be my favorite card using this stamp set. Again, I used just the solid images here, and then I cropped this layer with the Scalloped Contours dies, and then I stamped the outline image on the background that I have embossed with the, I think I did that with the textures, tasteful textures. Tasteful Textiles. I'm not sure what it's called. I'll have links to all of the products on these cards in the description below. The name escapes me right now, and then I added some gold trim on there too. So I love this card. Love that card. And then here is another example where I did some masking. It looks very similar to the card that we made today, but I added some more layering on here, and again it's purple because I love it. And then I did some heat embossing for a sentiment from the stamp set. So these are the purples and again the soft succulent and evening evergreen on there. And then this is again a very different looking card. I used the Joseph's Coat technique where I heat embossed the images on top of a colored background, so it would do heat resisting. And then this is Blackberry Bliss, so I have a Blackberry Bliss card. And then I've got the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder in the background, and these are bright colors, and all of these colors were inspired by last month's Paper Pumpkin. That's how I get a lot of my color inspiration, is from either Designer Series paper or Paper Pumpkins. Anywhere that Stampin' Up puts colors together, I steal those color combinations and use them for my cards. So hopefully you can see that this stamp set, I mean, these cards could not be more different. I think you will agree. They're very, very different looking cards, but they're all made using this Delicate Dahlias stamp set. Beautiful, beautiful stamp set. So thank you so much for watching. If you're new, thank you for joining me. If you've been here for a while, I appreciate your support. Thank you again. I hope you learned something. I hope you're excited to get this particular stamp set. Please get it while you can. Like I said, I hate it when I have customers tell me, oh, I really want that stamp set, and I have to tell them, I'm so sorry, but you can't. It's no longer available. So get your Delicate Dahlias while you can. Thanks so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. See you next time. Bye-bye.